to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day. And I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
It's Oregon Football Pro Day today. The Mashofsky Center has been taken over by all kinds of Ducks. The NFL Draft is now just over a month away, if you can believe it. And Deputy Athletic Director Lisa Peterson is with us.
Thanks, Joey. You always make me feel so special.
What was your version of Pro Day when you were coming up in your professional career?
In my professional career?
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is, right? Pro Day. It's a professional day.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have a pro career.
But you're a professional now.
Oh, you mean?
See?
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about track. I mean, I threw in the Olympic trials. Did that count?
That does count. That I'll say is a bonus. I should rephrase the question more directly.
Okay.
Like, in your what is now career, in your professional life, do you think there's an equivalent of something like what we ask student-athletes to do in a pro day like this?
No, because I saw Kenyon over in the Mashofsky Center.
Good.
And I asked him, what the combine was like. And I said, and I shouldn't say this on the radio, but I said, like, what was it like? He said it's a unique experience. It was, something to go through. But, like, you're standing up there and they're measuring everything and you have shorts on. And
what a vulnerable thing, right?
Right. It's
For
like
real.
It's got to be insane, and they're testing everything. And there isn't anything that I went through where I stood there with just a pair of shorts on having hundreds of people stare at me.
I'm glad that you put it that way, because I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
And every time we get to this date where it's the combine and it's just the evaluation that takes place of all these student athletes and trying to have this professional career, it is so unique.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you were on the show today when Pro Day got scheduled for today, because I thought to myself, like, someone who has worked in so many different capacities around athletics in general. I'm going to ask I told you it was going to be some hard-hitting stuff
You
today.
did say it was hard-hitting.
Yeah.
Dang.
So, but I just wanted to take the opportunity to say, like, it is so unique.
It is. Well, and I was actually standing with Coach Lanning when the kickers were going, and I said to him, I go, how high do you think their heart rate is? And he's like, they don't go to the combine typically, and they typically don't get drafted. So, Sebastian Janikowski, who probably you and I are the only ones in this room who know who that is. Maybe Scott.
Saul knows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great. He might be the only kicker drafted, right? They don't typically get drafted, so they get one shot for people to even, look at them potentially. And if it doesn't go through those uprights, then they have to completely rethink their future. And so there isn't anything that's like that.
It's crazy.
And so I'm thankful that, obviously it's a sport and there's all those things and, there's a lot of really great benefits, but it's not just what everyone thinks.
Yeah. And anyway, I'm glad that we could have this discussion. By the way, some notes on kickers. There were 2 kickers drafted in the 2025 draft.
Oh, wow.
Kickers have started to be more of a commodity drafted. Jake Moody got picked in 2023. There were 2 kickers in 2022 and 1 in 2016.
Well, then Sebastian might be the only one that was ever taken in the first round.
First round, Charlie Gogolak in 1966 and Steve Little were drafted in the first round. Sebastian Janikowski in 2000, 17th overall. Well done.
So maybe just in my lifetime.
But isn't that amazing? Like, now you're seeing more of a...
Well, and don't you think they should? I mean, look at the number. Who scores typically
the most points in the
most
NFL.
points in the NFL.
It's often the kickers.
Yeah.
See, you had no idea we were going to go this direction.
I did
today.
not. That was not in the rundown you sent me.
It was not in the rundown. That might have been intentional. That was a genuine answer though on something that I think is not necessarily discussed enough amongst pressures that are on student athletes, right? Pressures that are on athletes in general, and just the uniqueness even of, to take this a step further, like in a college football season, there's 12 games. That's like the biggest, most important presentation and meeting that you ever give in your professional life, and it only happens 12 times a year.
And who knows what goes on right before those 12 times. And
Right.
so
Who's
I was
sick.
Right,
I mean,
exactly. Or the weather.
Cal Scolari just went through this, right? He had the flu on Sunday, couldn't pitch for the Ducks. It happens.
Right, exactly. No, and as everyone also knows who pays attention to this kind of stuff, how impactful the 40-yard dash is, right?
Right.
And so I'm sitting there talking to somebody who knows a little bit about sprinting. His name is Gatlin Bear, and I asked him because here it's all hand time, right? And I said, so those 31 teams, because I guess there was one team not here, they're relying on those people with their stopwatches to do that. And so, somebody's asking Gatlin, well, what do you run the 40? And he goes, well, who's doing it? Is it my dad? Or is it, he's like, there should be a standardized, when they're going and doing these pro days, there should be the standardized system. I'm like, let's go get the electronic system from the track.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
By the way, I think he runs probably pretty fast.
Yeah, Gatlin, for those that are unaware, was perhaps, well, I could put it this way. He's one of the most celebrated sprinters at the high school level.
Absolutely.
And Drew Maringer, Duck offensive coordinator, said, well, he can still definitely do that after being away on a mission for 2 years. So that's good things to know heading into the rest of spring football that we'll cover. We're also going to talk with Coach Lombardi today. I know that's a special place in your heart, 10 years at the Jane.
I just got
celebrating
goosebumps.
it this year. That's fun. We're going to hear from those two coordinators, talk a little bit through Pro Day. And by the way, everyone tuning in, they're wondering, like, hey, we're going to hear from the guys on Pro Day. Yes, that will happen. Go Ducks YouTube's got you covered. Pro Day is continuing live. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, still in the Melyssa Center, we'll have a number of interviews for you. But also postseason for Oregon women's basketball coming up.
How about that?
10:30 the start time on Friday against Virginia Tech. That means Chris Clayton has a 10 a.m. pregame show, Oregon, Virginia Tech. It's never going to get old hearing that name called and seeing student athletes celebrate when they get into the tournament.
Absolutely not. I think isn't that what Kelly had said too, and how many years has he been doing this? No, it's really pretty special, and for some of them it's their first time.
Right.
And so for him it might be, I don't know what number it is. 20?
A lot.
Yeah. But for, some of those ladies, it was their first time. So it's pretty cool, and I love it for them, and anything can happen. That's why you call it March Madness.
To this point, you've worked in different roles with a lot of different sports in college athletics. I started with that. Can you give the 30-second reminder of all the different things that you've done around athletics? Can you summarize that in 30 seconds? 45?
Okay, 30. Yeah. So I started by taping receipts on paper to process expense reports. I held cord for football coaches at games. I did ticket audits. I've done shot clock at basketball games, to balancing millions of dollars in budgets, to hiring and firing coaches, to, helping student athletes decide what college to go to becoming doctors and lawyers and mothers and fathers. And, now we're paying student athletes to use their name, image, and likeness and, win national championships, build facilities. I, work with every sport that we have. So
that was in 47 seconds. That was pretty good, actually.
Wow.
That was pretty good. And I want to say at both the university and at the conference level.
Yeah,
right?
It's been great. And, six, if you look at whatever you want to call power conferences, if you throw the Big East in there, it's been all six.
So, and the reason I bring that up is on a day like today where we're talking about the uniqueness, and we've all covered this, how you and I have talked about this, the changing landscape. It's rapid right now in college athletics. I'm curious for you now as a leader and a professional, how has working with all those different sports in all those different capacities shaped you as a professional and as an individual? How have all those different experiences shaped you?
That's a really good question, Joey. And I know, you do give me a rundown of what we're going to talk about, and when that was on there, it's hard to think about that. I get asked it a lot though, because people are always asking me like when I'm going to become an AD and things like that, and I've never wanted that in my career. And people are always asking why, and it got brought up a lot this past weekend when I was in Arkansas with our track team. And there's a lot of reasons why I love the role that I'm in and things like that. And where college athletics is going, a lot of people have this perception now that it's really all about the money, and it's, there's no loyalty anymore, and there's things like that. Well, I challenge you to go to a track meet and you see that it's not about the money, that people are still really doing it for the sport that they love. There's not a lot of coverage. There's not, all of those things that are happening at maybe what you see in some of the other sports. And I still believe in sport. I still believe that it brings people together. I still believe that it teaches you so many different things, like the highs and the lows, and it prepares you for whatever is next, whenever that can end, and all of the things. So it's shaped me, and like it's just truly made me who I am today. And for so long, my focus and a lot of the stuff that I did was, working specifically with women's sports and trying to create and do everything that we can internally to make them be on the level playing field with the men's side of things and stuff like that. And now that I work more closely with football and, those things, I see a different side of the pressure that they have that is a little bit different. Not a little bit, it's a lot different, from what you see with the women's side of things. And so until you're in it, it's seeing the full picture of things. And so, yes, there is a lot of really great opportunity that sport provides you. And if you truly jump into it and you give yourself as a student athlete, you dive into all the things that you can do while you're here, I do believe that it still sets you up for future. And because in life there are highs and lows, and there is adversity, and the people that you encounter and that you work with and that you are around are not going to be the same as you. They're not going to have the same experiences and the same background, but you can all work towards one thing to be successful. And I still believe in all of that. But there are a lot of things that a lot of people don't understand, and there are pressures that no one knows unless you are the person living it. And it has given me a whole new perspective on that, which is something that I'm glad that I got to see. I still believe in everything that I had before. I just got another lens that I got to see all over all of that. And that over in that Melyssa Center and what that looks like, and, what those young men are feeling, whether it's for internal, whether it's from family members, whether it's from agents, whether it's from their communities, whatever that is, it's a lot for an 18 to 24-year-old to have to go through. And
it's a lot for anybody.
Exactly. Yeah. But for them especially. And for the time that they start playing at 5 years old and they get told that they're the best, they're the best, they're the best. And then you come here and you're one of the best because there's 100 others that are the best. And, like all of that happens. And then throw the money on top of that and everything. Like there's a whole lot that goes into it, but at the end of the day, it's still a sport and it still provides entertainment for all of us. And so at the heart of it, I hope that people still, can appreciate all of the things that go into it and still have pride for the people that wear the O and all the things that go into it. So,
and at the end of the day, just in the pro day example, all of those young men that are going through that process and overcoming a lot of adversities. Imagine when they got up this morning, what they were thinking about and what this opportunity is in their journey and all the work that it took to even get to this point to now try to take that next step into the NFL in this case. And I agree with you, as usual. It's also St. Patrick's Day. We're going to have some fun with that. It's the easiest place in the world to work on St. Patrick's Day.
I was just on a call that said that this is a good place to be.
You wore green today. Well done.
I did, intentionally, Joey.
Yeah, look,
intentionally.
It's easy at the U of O to show up in some green, but
exactly.
Look, there's a few that might have missed it today. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, I saw one specific.
Yeah. Well, next up, we have not yet covered in the depth it deserves what is going on with indoor track and field and now outdoor track and field. We're going to do that. Coming back, Deputy Athletic Director Lisa Peterson's with us. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna take my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now. Don't forget to say you will. Don't forget to say
It's finals week at the University of Oregon, and St. Patrick's Day usually falls right around finals week as we welcome you back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. It's also been a fabulous week, 72 and sunny like truly in the Emerald Valley.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate test for students this week.
Doesn't that suck for them?
Yes. There's 2 of them sitting here in the studio right now.
I'm sure we're not worried about these 2.
We're not worried about these 2, but it is the ultimate test.
It is, especially because this weekend it's not going to be.
It's going to be 72 and sunny at PK Park. I don't know what you're talking about.
I wasn't even thinking about PK Park. I was just thinking that, when spring break is actually here.
Right. It's going to be fine.
Okay.
If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. That's how it is around here, right?
Amen.
Amen. All right. Welcome back. It's Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. So, indoor track and field. You mentioned you were out there, so I wanted to make sure that we talked about it.
Let's talk about it.
So, it's interesting. I should tell everyone a little bit behind the broadcast. The reason that I asked you to come on today was because I figured you'd be coming back from a good showing in Fayetteville. The Ducks are the runner-ups in both the men's and the women's side of the track and field championships. I say this all the time. Like, everyone wants to win every trophy.
Yes.
And in track and field around here, you take for granted how difficult winning is because they seem to just do it all the time.
It's hard.
Tons of individual national champions and a runner-up finish. How was the trip, Lisa?
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so I hope Jerry doesn't mind me sharing this, but he let me sit in on the talk before the meet on Thursday night, and he said, don't let perfect get in the way of great.
How about that?
And then our freshman pentathlete, Lisa, became the definition. And I say that because her hurdle race wasn't great. Like it wasn't perfect. She hit the 3rd hurdle. She was not happy with her time. And that's the very first event out of 5. And the pentathlon is 5 events in one day, unlike the heptathlon where it's over 2 days like the men do. And, she could have let that event define the rest. Instead, she has a personal best in the high jump and then crushes the long jump. And so before the 800, Seth and Josh and Lisa, like everyone's trying to figure out, okay, what does she need to beat, the two that are closest to her to win as a freshman the indoor title.
Amazing.
And she does it. And, Lisa, I joke with her all the time because she's pretty stoic. She doesn't show a lot of emotion. There was a little bit when she cleared that high jump bar and when she crushed that long jump. But when she won that title, like, it was amazing. And so that was kind of when I first started to lose my voice. I left a little bit of it in Arkansas, but it was so great. And and track also does form charts to figure out like the number of points they can score and all those kind of things. And let's just say that the women outperformed what they could do, but she was the beginning of it. And as we talk about, success breeds success. And so she does that. And then the DMR, the women's DMR comes back, and Juliet started it with the 1200, and she ran incredible and set them up. And I mean, Wilma, she's just not going to lose.
No.
And you can just see that in every race that she runs. And it was so awesome. And, they end up winning that. So there's 2 national champions. Earlier in that day, you have Peyton Bear. And if you don't know his name, look him up.
He's now in the same sentence with Ashton Eaton, and he's actually above Ashton Eaton in the record book now. It's amazing.
Right. And he came here, he transferred here, and he, had an indoor mark, and he beat that mark in 12 months by over 400 points.
400
and
points.
if you paid attention to that, like, that is not easy to do.
No.
And you also, in every event that you do, you only get 3 chances. I mean, obviously in the running, it's 1 chance, but like in the high jump, in the shot put, in the pole vault, which we can talk about, and every 3rd chance, he kills it.
Yep.
And so, he's so exciting to watch. But the other part of it is, like, Aiden Carter, who is our Big Ten champion, like, he's bringing him, like, again, success breeds success. And so Peyton is so fun to watch. But Jerry told me this story. He said that, they were talking about, and again, I really hope he doesn't kill me, but they needed to qualify for the DMR. And so he told the distance guys that they were bringing Peyton to run the 400 of the DMR. And they said, oh, you're bringing an Avenger. And Jerry's like, what are you talking about? And he goes, that's Captain America.
Love it.
Doesn't it make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Well, I learned that that's what they called him at his previous school, and it fits. I mean, Peyton was phenomenal. I mean, again, he threw his farthest shot put. He ran his fastest hurdles fastest 60 in the HEP. He ran it faster in the open, and then he threw his farthest shot put. We go to the next day. He's got to do the pole vault, and he comes in at a height, and he misses the first 2. And the height's pretty low for him. And I kid you not, like, there's no one in the stands. His competitors, everyone, no one is breathing when he goes to the 3rd. And he clears that, and then it didn't matter. Like, it was fine after that, and he did well there. But again, it goes down to that 1,000, and he's chasing the clock. He's not chasing, like, there's nobody even close to him in it. And so they had to calculate what he had to run, and he had to run 240 in the 1,000. And so they had marks, right? Like, what he has to be at the what he had to be at the 800, like, what he's running every lap. And he had to run a 240, and he ran 239.54. And he told me that he's like, I thought I was gonna have to dive at the end. And I told him, I said, Ashton Eaton has been king in Eugene for a very long time.
Long time.
And I said, and now there might be a new king.
Pretty amazing. I loved what he told to ESPN afterwards was just like, sorry, Ashton. It was bravo, Peyton.
I mean,
bravo.
And the thing is that you can look at it, like, his high jump isn't great. There are things that he can improve upon, which he just broke Ashton Eaton's record, and there's things that he can improve upon.
Right.
And, like, this kid's just getting started.
It's so fun.
And when you talk to him, like, he is so well spoken. Yes, he's mature for his age and things like that, but, like, this family, is phenomenal. Gatlin that we talked about, they're brothers.
Yep.
And so it's phenomenal. Like, I had such a good time. And those are just some of the ones. Like, Simeon, who runs distance, which, by the way, Rapid City, South Dakota, yes, where my mom lives currently, just a sophomore. He is going to be a name that we remember here for a very long time. James Harding came out of nowhere in the 800 in the 800 and is an All-American. I mean, our 2 shot putters, finally, they both went over 20 meters in the same meet. Freshman and sophomore. So
it's a young team.
It's yes, and then we can't not talk about the Herta Queen. I mean, I'm not sure there's a runner that I like watching more than Aaliyah McCormick.
Aaliyah McCormick makes it really, really fun in everything.
She's unbelievable. And so, I love track. And so when people are asking me why don't I want to be an AD, and I'm like, because I'm probably not sitting for 3 days in Arkansas at an indoor track meet, and I wouldn't want to miss it for the world.
That's
and so,
cool. Well, stay near and dear to your heart.
It is,
you
for sure. For sure, it is.
But also, it's a recognition and an appreciation for what this program has been known for. Coach Schumacher and his staff have been now continued and elevated in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. And our distance running, I mean, there's just so much. And we, Jerry and I talk about all the time, people can look at track like it's an individual sport, but not at Oregon. It's a team sport. And what they do, and those student athletes buy into it, and they train like that, and everything that they do is for that team total. And, yes, do we want to bring home, the national championship? Of course we do. And, I'm sure that there are plenty of those coaches that aren't happy that it wasn't that. But I think it's pretty great that we got to bring home both silvers.
No doubt. I mean, again, winning is hard.
It is.
Right? We talk so much about this around Oregon and sport to the theme of our first segment, but I just think it's so indicative and illustrative of where Oregon track and field is. Here in Tracktown, USA, that, you win silver and you're almost like, could have had the gold. That's the competitive level that they have.
Well, and you know what? There is a way that you could do it. Like, if Jerry would solely focus on one discipline, I mean, maybe we could, but that's not what he's about, and that's not what we're going to do. We're going to have a track team. We're not going to have just one or two things, which some institutions are doing.
Right.
And he's not going to do that, and he refuses to do that, and that's why he's here.
Yeah, makes sense. Deputy Athletic Director Lisa Peterson. All right, we got to half of the bullet points that I sent you.
Yeah.
What else is going on? Anything exciting?
I mean, I thought we were doing St. Patrick's Day.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to.
Do I not want him to? Why are you shaking your head?
They're just here to support the show and the initiatives of the show.
Just do it.
Okay. St. Patrick's Day. If you are around the University of Oregon and you do not wear green on a day like today, I just want to say, how?
I agree. Do we call him out?
That's your call. It's your call. I know where I stand on the totem pole.
Okay, so are we going to go around offices, or what are we going to do?
Let's just say that in the opposite corner of where this room sits, do you all believe in pinching? Is that still a thing that people do on St. Patrick's Day?
I mean, I think we don't need to ask Mark Ruckwert.
Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, I think we can do it.
That's where I'm going to leave us today. Here on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Lisa Peterson, Deputy Athletic Director. Hey, thanks for being here. And thank you, for real, for everything.
No, thanks for having me. But before I go, Joey, did you get a bagel from the events office?
I did not.
You didn't?
I did not. What did I miss?
I mean, how do you not have a bagel when they're offered?
To be honest, I have no good excuse for that.
Okay.
I messed up.
That's okay. Yeah. It's all right. Hey, but you have a great St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you. You too. Missy Lombardi, Oregon softball head coach, on our way into the studio next. We're going to talk about a 3-0 weekend at the Jane. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is Meditating with Jan from Toyota. Soften your focus and imagine yourself off-roading in a Tacoma. Breathe in, breathe out, and go from dreaming it to driving it today. That's Jan's meditation.
Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Meditating with Jan from Toyota. Soften your focus and imagine yourself off-roading in a Tacoma. Breathe in, breathe out, and go from dreaming it to driving it today. That's Jan's meditation.
Toyota, let's go places.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA, is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack, joined by Oregon softball head coach Melyssa Lombardi. Coach, it's great to see you. We go from Lisa Peterson, who was integral in helping build the Jane, to now, Coach, you're 13-1 on this homestand. Nice to be playing at the Jane, isn't it?
Nice to be playing at the Jane, and love Lisa Peterson.
Dude, she when I tell you that there were long hours in the 10 months it took to build Jane, which, by the way, the Jane got built in 10 months.
Yeah.
Just think about that for a second. She was really, really integral in all of that. Still makes her way out to the Jane quite a bit.
Yes, Lisa Peterson is a boss lady.
Do you think that she has the loudest cheer at the Jane? Is it in the top 10 at least?
I think it is.
I think it is too. Every time I hear that. Yep, that's Lisa. Big Ten opener, a successful Big Ten opener for you. Just zoom out for us, Coach. You win 3 against a good competition in Penn State. What did you take away from the weekend?
Just this team is gritty. They're resilient. They expect to win. They find ways to win. The last day, things didn't really go our way. Sometimes you just have games that it doesn't quite go your way.
Sure.
But what is your response to that? And I thought the response was excellent.
So you've been pleased with the mentality, it sounds like, of this team. I mean, we talk so much about, in every sport, right, learning how to win in different games. You feel like your team's gained some of that experience this year? I
do. I think they've gained a lot of it. And it's really, I think they're starting to reap their harvest.
I mean, you're seeing it with this RPI. If I could, Coach, is it too early for me to talk about the RPI?
No.
Okay. So here's the thing. We've talked a lot about how Oregon softball has played a very, very difficult schedule, right? You did not shy away from that. We talked about it. Okay, so as we sit here this week, the Ducks were number 11 in the RPI yesterday, a little bit of movement to 13. I don't know if you believe in lucky number 13, but a Baker's dozen. That is a combination of wins against quality opponents, and no one on Oregon's schedule this year is lower than 150 in the RPI. And that's kind of what you expected, right? If we could go back to like off-season Coach Lombardi, that's kind of what you thought, I'd guess?
Yes, definitely.
And that has already proved some dividends. So it's never too early to start talking about the RPI, is it?
No, it's something that that's really the only thing that we talk with our athletes about is
Really?
the RPI. Yes, for them to understand how it works and what it's going to do for us. And, every game we go into it wanting to win, but understanding the RPIs that come along with each game and what it can do for us.
I got to say, I feel like that speaks volumes to the maturity of your team, that you can have that conversation with them, right? I mean, did you feel that way as a coach? I'd imagine so.
I do. I think we have to. And, in order to get to where you want to go, you have to understand the path and the journey and how to get there.
Right.
And so we need to be able to have these conversations with this group, and they get it. I went into the team lounge yesterday, and a couple of them were in there studying for their finals, and I said, "Hey, you guys are RPI," and they said it. So I don't even have to tell them because they're just very aware. They know what's going on.
Well, and also let me just say that it is finals week at the University of Oregon, and the fact that Oregon softball is studying like the RPI kind of is like a test sometimes with a final, right? It's got to feel good as a coach.
Yeah.
That's got to feel good as a coach. Now, to put it a little bit more in context, so 20 of Oregon's opponents this year, top 75 in the RPI. That's a great sample size now. Purdue coming up is number 39, so another really quality opponent that we'll get to coming up. Okay, to some individuals. Elon Butler, listen to this. 30 runs batted in the last 15 games. 2 RBI per game in the last 15. Couple of home runs, 3 RBI in game 1 against Penn State. Hit another home run, had 5 RBI in game 2. I summarize all of that from a coach's perspective. How good has Elon Butler been the last couple weeks?
She's been great. She's everything that we thought she would be, and why it was so important to get her in the offseason.
Boy, and scored, by the way, the game-winning run on a sacrifice fly in a game that you learned how to win a close one, right? Came from behind.
Another one that we came from behind and got the win.
Right. Amari Harper also reached base in 10 of 11 plate appearances against Penn State. That plus 900 on base percentage is not something you see a lot of weekends. Hit .833 as well. 3 walk, a couple hit by pitches. Homered twice in the 8-2 win. How good is Amari Harper right now?
Same thing. I just think about, in the offseason, knowing that we needed to get her and have her in our lineup. Her ability to, one, just ultimately get on base, whether that's via the walk, hit by pitch, hitting the ball hard, but then also, two, having the power to leave the yard, able to hit gaps, even to have a bunt for a base hit. She just has a lot of tools, and her ability, just the way she goes about the plate. I love watching her hit. She knows she's very, I feel like I've been saying calculated a lot this year, but that's probably the best way to describe her.
Well, and I feel like, too, the plate discipline is something that maybe often gets overlooked in diamond sports, right? Like, you see the home run, but sometimes the walk to lengthen an inning is even more important.
For sure. The plate discipline is for real, for sure. And you could see even this weekend there was times where, they thought they had rung her up and the ball was off. And it was a ball, and she did a great job of, putting on the brakes and not swinging through a ball.
That strike zone. Continuing with Coach Lombardi, you talked, too, about lengthening a lineup. I mean, Stephanie Maake now, 5 for 8 over the weekend, had 3 runs batted in. What does that do for your lineup if she's hitting like that?
It does a lot. It's difficult. It's not, okay, if we can get through the first 3, and then after that we should be good. It's like, if we can get through this lineup one time, and then now attempt to go through it again.
Yeah. All right, now, I mentioned a lot of zooming out and putting in context. Well, here's one for a 3-week homestand where you go 13-1. The batting average for your squad has gone up 34 points to 326. So I want to pause there and just ask you a little bit about the growth of this offense, lengthening a lineup, all the things that we've covered.
We've had a lot of growth. It's been good to come home and just be at home for 3 weeks and really just stay regimented with what we do. But just to come home and play in front of our fans. We love to play in front of our fans. Our fans have been unbelievable for these 3 weeks. We're averaging over 2,000 fans each game. Yes, thank you.
Way
and keep coming out. Keep supporting us. Like, you are a difference maker. You saw that last year in postseason, and even in the big, you are a difference maker. So please continue to come out. But the growth we've had is what we needed. We needed to just come home a little bit and just almost, hit the reset button a little.
Yeah.
And you could see this group have done that. They're confident. They're gelling really well. Just resilient, gritty, everything that we have been wanting from them.
I know this might sound a little cliche, but you may not win that game on Sunday without that fan involvement and the growth of this team, right? I mean, that's kind of what we're talking about, I feel like.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. All right, now, on the pitching side, okay, Lindsey Grimes struck out 12 in a complete game 2-hitter in game 1. That's going to be scary for teams to see in postseason.
Yeah, I think she's just in a really good place right now. Really good place. I love what she's doing. I love how she's using all of her pitches. When she came in here, you would think of her as just purely somebody that throws a rise ball, and her ability to have really good vertical separation and change speeds it's been great to watch.
Another individual I want to ask you about is Maddie Milhorn. 1 run, 3 hits, a complete game win in game 2. It clinches the series.
Yeah.
Again, kind of that feel of what these series mean. That's got to be a valuable experience for Maddie in this situation.
It is. Her as a freshman, just come in and do what we need you to do.
Yeah.
And if that's a full 7, great. If it's less than that, give us quality innings and then pass the ball.
Talking too about growth. So now the same question for your pitching. Lowered the ERA from 3.16 to 2.69 during the homestand. There's that home field advantage and that home cooking. Held opponents to a 170 opponent batting average. And now your team coach is 7th nationally in strikeouts per 7-inning pitch at just over 8.1 strikeouts per 9, or per 7, I should say. What's that done for your team?
That to have the ability to get the strikeout yourself versus the ball hit, have to field, throw, have to catch, and eliminate extra people in the play goes a long way.
On a couple other notes, Ducks are now 12th in whip and 10th in fewest hits per 7. And that's against some really good lineups.
Yeah.
How much has the competition level, maybe even to put those numbers in context, like those are impressive pitching numbers against some really good lineups, right?
It is, and we have a deep staff. They're all contributing to, what we're trying to do this season, which is we need them to do that. And again, I think they're in a good spot. These guys are in a really good spot. I like where we're at going into the big. I really do. Like having our first weekend and then, now going into 2 weeks to be on the road. I think what they've done up to this point has really prepared them for what is next.
To that point, if we could just zoom out on the Big Ten for us, Coach. I mean, you start 3-0 in Big Ten conference play. What's the breakdown of the conference here at this point in the season? What do you think?
Our conference is tough. There's not one team you could go in and think that you're going to just go in and walk away with 3 wins. There's no way. You've got to be elite with what you do and come ready to play every single game and know that you're going to have to win games in different ways.
That's valuable, especially you get to postseason. Again, it's never too early, right? It's never too early. Purdue is number 39 in the RPI, again, just to put it in perspective. Starts on Friday at 2 o'clock against Purdue. The schedule is a little bit moved around, right, with spring break and finals week coming up. So it is a long road trip for you. You got to get the suitcase back out.
We got to pull the suitcases back out, yes.
What's the report on Purdue? What do you know about them?
Really coached extremely well. They've got speed. They hit the ball well. They pitch well. They just do all things well, and they're at their home. They're playing really well right now. It's going to be a tough battle.
Solid team, Purdue. And then Indiana on the backside of it on Monday. Ducks are staying out in that part of the country then for Northwestern Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We'll talk about that next week, but it's going to be a fun road trip, you hope, right?
It is. We're looking forward to it.
It's team bonding.
Yeah, we got some cool things that we're going to be doing while we're there.
That's great. Coach Lombardi joining us. All right, we'll get a timeout and say, I guess, safe travels, huh?
Sounds good.
It's going to be a while before you're back in the Country Financial studio, but don't worry, I got plans, okay? All right, Coach Lombardi, thank you. Appreciate your time. Timeout when we come back. Spring football for Oregon football underway. We're checking in with a couple offensive and defensive coordinators next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emma and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I want you to know. I said I want you to know right now. You've been good to me, baby.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack thanking Lisa Peterson, thanking Missy Lombardi here in the Country Financial Studio. And now, over the weekend, Oregon football continued spring football practice. It's pro day today. Duck offensive coordinator Drew Maringer met with the media at the podium for the first time. Talked for about 25 minutes, so we've got some of it here for you, some of the highlights from Drew Maringer answering some questions about this Duck offense.
You're taking over an offense that has been among the best in the nation for the past few years now. How do you find a balance between, not wanting to upset the apple cart, but also, put your stamp on it now that you're the offensive coordinator, you're the play caller?
I think that, that's an interesting question. It's kind of like, people ask you, what's your favorite play? Right. And I was like, hey, whatever's going to score, whatever we need to do in that particular moment. I think that one of the great things that we had with Will here previously is we saw the game very similarly, not completely similar or not completely alike, but very similarly. And I think, I was asked a question about Will last fall camp, and it was like, what do we think the offense is going to look like? And I think Will would tell you the same thing. It's, every offense every year is going to be a little bit different. And regardless of who's calling plays or it's just the faces that are on the offense are going to be a little bit different, and the skills that you have on there. There's going to be some guys that are a year older and a little bit better. There's going to be some new guys that show up. There's going to be some young guys that need to play for you. What can they do, and how can we put them in a position to be successful? I think we're at a point right now early in spring where we're seeing, where those pieces are going to fit and who's going to develop and what they're going to be able to do for us. So what are we going to be completely like in the fall? I think that still remains to be seen. I don't think that anybody going into spring ball last year would have said that we would have been in as much two-back personnel as we were, but our running back room ended up being a real positive for us. And the two freshman running backs for us played really, really well for us down the stretch. And when we had a talented wideout room last year. We got another talented wideout room this year. But some guys got banged up, so we played in a little bit more 12 personnel. And even you think about this time right now, last year, Jamari Johnson was not practicing because he was coming off a broken leg. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of that still remains to be seen, and we're, molding the pieces and putting them together. So is it like the my stamp thing? This is never going to be Drew Maringer's offense, or anything like that. This is always going to be our offense. There's a lot of voices. There's a lot of really smart coaches that are in this building. Not just myself or any one particular person. We have a very talented offensive staff, and I've learned more football from Dan Lanning and Chris Hampton and those guys. So I think that there's always pieces that you can take and learn from, right? And how can we use those pieces and that information to grow and get better and allow our playmakers to go make some plays for us.
You have 3 new tight ends on the team. What does Dixon bring as a veteran guy? And then what do you think about the 2 young freshmen? Are they guys who can make an instant impact, or are you going to take some time for them?
I kind of was going to go back to the previous one. I'm not sure yet. So Marcus obviously has been in college for a little while. He comes from a good program, and he's a bigger, older kid, right? So he's a 255-pound kid. He's really smart. He's tough, and there's a lot of we watch tight ends all the time, right? And there's you watch. The tight ends that make it got to be those things. You know what I mean? You got to be smart. You got to be tough. even the guys that are like the quote unquote pass catchers, right? Like, I mean, Kenyon City just broke the 40 record in the combine, right? And one of the trademarks for him is he's a fantastic blocker. You know what I mean? So in terms of the two young guys, I think that, high school football is different, I think that Kendre, for example, is learning a lot. You know what I mean? We're doing a lot more things, and practice is happening a lot faster than it was for him, only a few months ago. And then Andrew is, coming off of a redshirt year at Penn State, where, he's learning too, so for him, this feels, maybe not like the first year, right? But it's a lot of new information, and it's like learning a new language, but you're doing it at full speed and with somebody on the other side of the ball trying to knock your head off. You know what I mean? So we could all go take Chinese right now, but try and spit out the answers while there's a 285-pound guy standing across from you trying to. So I think that there's a little bit of there's some learning curves, and I think it's still very early, but I think they show promise. Both of those guys run really well. They catch the ball very well. I don't think that they're afraid. I think they're tough. So how much are they going to play at the moment? I mean, we still got a long way to go before we get to September 5th, and we'll see how they develop.
Wondering how these last couple of days have felt for you on the practice turfs. Does it feel different? You feel like as a coordinator, there's more responsibilities. Feel about the same when you're out there? Just kind of what's like on a day-to-day?
It's definitely more responsibilities. We making sure that things are organized, and making sure that the staff is all on the same page. Ultimately, that falls on me, at least for the offensive staff. It is at times a little bit weird, right? Just being today we had like a ball security circuit. Normally you're the guy running the drill, and now you're the person keeping the drill organized, right? So that was kind of weird. You know what I mean? Yeah, you've seen Talladega Nights. At times it's like, I don't know what to do with my hands, that part was different. But I think the feeling that I think is cool, it's kind of like, Coach Lanning says, pinch yourself a little bit. Like, it's pretty cool. And when you feel like you're at a place working for a head coach that you absolutely love, that you wouldn't trade for anybody else in the country, and working for the players that we have, I think that, you want to serve them the best way possible. And so it makes you work really, really hard because you care about those guys. And we'll want to make sure that we're very organized and we don't waste their time. I'm a big believer in trying not to disrespect people's time, right? And so, yeah, it's cool. A little bit surreal at times. The first practice was a little surreal. But at the end of the day, it's just like, we got to go out there and get the job done, and let's get to work and find ways to help coach and develop these guys.
Evan Stewart was close to coming back last year. It seems that he's out there working with you guys now. Where do you see him in his recovery and kind of how he's coming along after a year missed with injury?
Yeah, Stewie looks good. I mean, I think Stewie is this is the hardest I think I've ever seen Stewie work. And yeah, I had a conversation with him, a bunch of conversations with him, right, about the goals that he has and where he wants to go and what he's capable of doing. I think it's not a secret that he can run, but there's a lot of guys that can run that don't make it in the NFL, right? And that's ultimately that's his dream. That's everybody that's in that locker room over there. That's their dream, right? So what's the difference maker for him? Hey, Dante.
That was really funny. Drew Maringer, though, I got to tell everyone, we're going to come out of that interview right here, but Drew did just compose himself like a quarterback would, seeing somebody come at them under pressure, and he just continued right on. Dante Moore just casually walking through press conference. It happens around the Hatfield-Dowling complex. Drew Maringer meeting with the media. We'll have more from Coach Maringer coming up tomorrow on the show as we get ready for a break in the spring football schedule. That's right. It's finals week, spring break, and Oregon will be back on the practice field in a couple weeks. Time out here, and we're going to come back and tell you a little bit more about Pro Day here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Thanks to Lisa Peterson, Missy Lombardi, and you heard a little bit from Drew Maringer. Chris Hampton and Drew Maringer both met with the media over the weekend. We'll have the rest of those conversations for you on tomorrow's show. A quick programming note, we won't have Duck Insider on Thursday or Friday in preparation for the NCAA tournament coming up. Remember, Oregon women's basketball with a 10:30 a.m. ESPN2 tip on Friday. Chris Clayton's got a 10 a.m. pregame for you here across the Oregon Sports Network on Friday. We do have Oregon baseball at home, but we won't have Duck Insider just with the travel, the tournaments, the shows. We won't have Duck Insider coming up on Thursday and Friday. So tomorrow's program, we're going to have a lot to cover, including Pro Day. The Ducks that are competing at the Melyssa Center today. It is a long, long list. We were talking earlier about this, how specialists kind of have their moment in the sun at Pro Day. The graphic that Oregon football posted listed alphabetically, but a shout out to Luke Basso at the top, the long snapper gets his opportunity on Pro Day. Tons of Ducks competing. Interviews will be available on the Go Ducks YouTube, and we'll have them for you on Duck Insider over the next couple weeks as all these guys get ready for the NFL at the next stage of their life. See you tomorrow.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a